What's up, gamers? Killer B, and today I'm going to have another discussion about software coming up on the Vita as well as the Borderlands 2 bundle. Now, first, I'm going to start things off by talking about the future library of the Vita. Now, I've already made a video about indies on the Vita and pretty much saying I do not think it is a good long-term solution. It might be a short-term solution for software drought, which we're having, which you can sort of blame on Sony. Yeah, and so looking forward, I do not think there's really that much. And I'm going to get to that before I talk about the Borderlands 2 Vita, because I think they're sort of, one might be able to help solve the other. So first things first, I think you actually need to see what, at least according to GameStop, the future library of the Vita is. Now, this is not going to include every game. It doesn't have Minecraft, but it will give us a sense of what is really coming. If we look at the list, this is actually a screenshot taken from GameStop. We have Final Fantasy X HD, God of War Collection, Remake, Lego The Hobbit, Conception 2, Children of the 7 Stars, MLB 14 The Show, and I'm going to see others in a sec, but Final Fantasy X, the remake, I've already pre-ordered it, but God of War Collection, you can get it for less on the PS3, and you will get God of War 3 included. So I mean, why pay $30 for it less on a system that is not nearly as powerful as PlayStation 3. Controls are probably going to be awkward. I don't know if they're going to integrate touch controls, but they have not really been very good in the past, particularly with the Jack Collection remake. That was not good. Lego The Hobbit is pretty much a multi-platform horror. Warner Brother video games, you get the gist. Conception 2, I don't know that much about, but it's made by Atlas. They're known for Persona. I'm not really a fan of any of their other games. It's a very niche title. It's not going to move that much hardware. And finally, MLB 14 The Show. I'm not really a baseball fan. It's a respected series, though. I think it's, if anything, more of a console game. I don't think it's going to do that much for the Vita. It's just another sports game on a handheld. Look at the next list. We have Ragnarok Odyssey Ace, Mine Zero, Dynasty Warriors 8 Extreme Legends, Demon Gaze, and the Sly Collection. Now, I have never played the previous Ragnarok Odyssey game, but I heard it absolutely sucked. It's another Monster Hunter-esque game, and we, in my opinion, already have enough of those. I'm actually playing Toukiden right now, so I'm really not enthused about that game at all. Additionally, Mine Zero is made by Axis. They're not really a strong developer at all. And Tecmo Koei did make Toukiden, which is a good game, but their Dynasty Warrior series, in my opinion, needs to end. I've played the first 5, and then I just had enough. I also have Dynasty Warriors next for the Vita, and it's really not a remarkable game. Next is Demon Gaze, made by Nipponish Software America. They're one of the few people who are actively supporting the Vita, but they don't make, in my opinion, very good games. They make very niche Japanese games. Poor visuals, not much story. I like Disgaea 3, but looking at Disgaea 4, it doesn't even look like they've changed it that much. And to me, Demon Gaze is a dungeon crawler, but it's not that good. And lastly, the Sly Cooper Collection. I would buy this if it were under $10. To me, there's no real reason to buy it when you can buy it on the PlayStation 3. Now, to me, the last 2 games on this pretty much embody really the software launch. Invisimals, it's sort of a child's game. They don't have a real release date for it yet. September 31st, which is placeholder. And then you've Putty Squad, and I have no idea about that. It's made by an unknown developer. It's probably not going to do that much for the system. I think it also reflects, in general, indies, as I already mentioned. Now, the final page, we have another game made by Tecmo Koei, Axis, actually 2 by Axis. I've never been a BlazBlue fan. I think the series absolutely sucks. Deception 4 does not look good at all. It's a trap game. I don't even know what that means. And lastly is Borderlands 2 port. Now, Borderlands 2, I think if you don't own a PlayStation 3, you might have some reason to buy it. It's supposed to have all 6 DLC parts. I don't know if it's all of them. I had got it for free on my PlayStation 3 as a PlayStation Plus benefit, part of the Instant Game Collection, and so I see absolutely no reason to buy it personally on the Vita, but maybe some of you might buy it. It might help a little bit. I don't think it's going to do that much, though. And to me, to be perfectly honest, it's just another port that Sony's made that's too little too late. What is a game that came out 2 years ago going to do to benefit the Vita? I'm really coming down to is why buy this on the Vita when it's going to be watered down? You're going to have a lot of content, yes, but the visuals are not going to be as good. I don't know how controls will be compared to console version. And as I already mentioned, you can get it for free on the PlayStation 3 as long as you're a PlayStation Plus member. And it's already been shown through statistics that most Vita owners are hardcore Sony fans, and therefore they probably own a PS3 and PlayStation Plus subscription, so I don't know how well sales are going to be for Borderlands 2 on the Vita. The one area that I think Borderlands 2 could actually help the Vita is with the bundle. And to me, this is something Sony should have done a long time ago. Bundles move hardware. Their Assassin's Creed Liberation bundle on Black Friday, I think 2 years ago. It's after Assassin's Creed Liberation came out, obviously. But the white console sold out within, I think, a couple hours. So you sold several 100,000 Vitas within not even a day. And so now, not as only Sony bundling it with the new PS Vita, which has the LCD instead of the OLED screen. I forget what they call it. The official title for the new PlayStation Vita. But essentially it's a Vita in terms of hardware, just without OLED screen. Slightly remodeled, lighter, has internal memory, and to me this makes it slightly more appealing, but in general, lower production costs mean Sony's making more profit, which I hope in the long run means they can invest more back into it. But also they're bundling with an 8 gig memory card, which for me I think is a big step. And I think if you're someone looking to get into the Vita, this is the perfect way to get in. You're not going to get the OLED screen, which looks significantly better, I've heard, than the LCD screen. But, I mean, you're getting a console, a game, 8 gig memory card for $200. That's an extremely good price. If you bought the OLED alone, you're paying $200. But I think really, I don't think necessarily Borderlands 2 is going to help this sell. I think it's the fact that the price is equal to the OLED price at right now. Meaning, I think this has a lot more value as is than the OLED just by itself. I think that in turn might help spike hardware sales, which in turn will help spike software sales, which in turn will help spike memory card sales, which in turn will help spike accessory sales. And so this is, I think, actually probably the first good move Sony has made proactively on their own. Now, how much it will actually sell, I really have no clue. As I mentioned, Borderlands 2 is a big, renowned game. It's kind of old, though. You can get it on other platforms already, so I'm not sure how much it's going to actually drive the market to the Vita. However, I think it actually offers a very good entry point to consumers who are trying to own a Vita. Now, I think additionally, what Sony really needs to do is advertise this. If Sony advertises this, they can actually, I don't know, probably move a lot more units. Let people know it's there. That they have a very cheap model with a renowned game that will, is a very good price. For me, aside from this, the biggest thing to take away from this is that perhaps the Vita will now be supported by 2K. And for me, that's a big takeaway. In case you didn't know, there was supposedly supposed to be a BioShock Vita game made. Ken Levine actually wants to make a game for the Vita. He thinks the idea of a shooter on a Vita is really good. I saw this in an interview we did. And after playing BioShock Infinite on my PS3 for an instant game collection, my only question at this point is 2 years later, why the hell haven't we seen it yet? And to me, the fact that Sony hasn't gotten arguably the best developer, or one of the best developers, I'd say it's probably, at least in my opinion, the best developer aside from Naughty Dog. I mean, Ken Levine and his team are just amazing. BioShock Infinite for me was just unbelievably good. If you have a PS3 and you have not downloaded it and you own PlayStation Plus, do it now. It is an unbelievable game. I've never played anything like that. Something so in depth and just so surreal. Something I don't know. It's a completely different experience. And I mean, playing that on a PlayStation 3, I want to experience that on my Vita. So for Sony, with the Vita, a system that has pretty much ports and then Japanese games by relatively unknown developers, question is really, why hasn't this happened yet? And to a larger point, this is really what I'm arguing in this video. We don't have that much coming pre-summer. We have absolutely nothing coming after the summer. So I think E3, it's pretty much do or die for Sony. I think this is where they have to show if they're behind the Vita or they're not, right? Because we have no big software solely for the Vita at all. Meaning, all the games we have on there pretty much are niche titles, which will probably not get much reception, and they're multi-platforms and ports. Okay, this is just gonna do nothing for the Vita, nothing. And so Sony absolutely needs to get some big games. And I mean, if they don't do that at E3, this thing is officially dead, completely dead. There's nothing they can do beyond big software to get this thing off the ground. And so some games I would absolutely love to see would be, you know, as I mentioned, BioShock Vita. Would be a phenomenal game. Infamous Vita. People keep asking for Grand Theft Auto Vita. That's never going to happen. And I'm being completely honest when I say that. I would like to see a Final Fantasy on the Vita, solely made for the Vita. I would like to see Kingdom Hearts on the Vita. I don't know why Sony didn't buy Square Enix out on Birth by Sleep HD Remake. If they made that exclusive to the Vita, sales, it might be in a totally different place right now. I mean, these are risks that I think Sony needs to show they're willing to take at E3. At Gamescom, they pretty much showed us nothing. They showed they're just going to port a bunch of games pretty much at low expense and try to make small profits. I think this is pretty much the plan with indies too. Risk-free, small profits, guaranteed. I think it's time they show really that they're going to back this thing up. Now, that's pretty much my rant. I probably should have broken this up in multiple videos, but I didn't. And anyway, if you enjoyed this, me ranting or bitching, like it, comment, subscribe, and thanks for watching.